Greetings and salutations, this is Jason Silverain, and today I'd really like to share with you a classic from my childhood, Rodland, specifically the 1991 Amiga version. The original version was released in 1990 for the arcade. It was like a coin-op machine, absolutely brilliant game in terms of graphics and sound. The Amiga managed to actually transfer this quite well as a port, and it really did get spread out across a lot of games and consoles. Now, this has got so much history to it. I'm going to let Harry from Texas Beach take over with all the notes I've collected, and we'll just get into the game, shall we?
Rodland, known in Japan as Yaozai Monogatari Rodland, which translates to Rodland, a fairy tale. Originally developed and published by Jaleco as an arcade game in 1990, it has since been ported to virtually every platform around in the early 90s, the first being the Amstrad CPC version in 1990, the last being the Nintendo Game Boy version in 1993. This excludes modernized remakes such as the port for Symbian mobiles in 2006. The home versions of the game were created by the Sales Curve Limited from their London-based development office. Versions were created for the Amiga ST, Commodore 64 and the NES. The NES version was only released in Italy, Spain, the Netherlands and Japan. The Amiga version was ranked the 16th best game of all time by Amiga Power. All of these versions differ in some way, particularly the NES version, which adds some new platform stages and allows the player to jump. But by far the biggest difference is that the arcade version includes a totally different sequel, with new graphics, levels, bosses and storyline, on completion of the original game. The enemies in the second story are more robotic. This sequel can be accessed directly at the start of the game, if the joystick is moved down 3 times between inserting a coin and pressing the 1P or 2P button. In the Game Boy version specifically, the player can strike enemies with the wand even while climbing a ladder, making the game slightly easier to play.
Thank you for that. Now, I must have been 6 years old when I first encountered Rodland. It was on the Amiga 500, and, well, I was charmed. It was bright, it was colourful, the sound was great, it was very simple to play. I'm using literally just a D-pad and a single attack button. Now, the goal of each level... Oh, I took a bit too long there. The goal of each level is to collect all the flowers. That will turn all the enemies in... or all the remaining enemies into those little peach-like things. And you can then kill them to try and get bonuses and spell out the word extra, which gives you an extra life. There we go, might as well do it while it's early. Now, the game is pretty generous in the fact that if you take too long on a level, the monsters will transform, and even if you get all the flowers, they then won't turn into these, but eventually they'll just fade. So there we go, we get an extra life, and quite a few points. And it is aged really well. I could just see this having a little bit of polish, a little bit neating up with the graphics, though even though sprite-wise it looks lovely. I mean, granted it's not as good as the arcade original, but it's still a lovely piece of artwork. There is a little quirk here. I'm currently playing as the player 2, even though I've set my controller to player 1. I also, if anyone wants to use UAE, it's a little finicky, it takes a little while to get used to, but it works. But don't use a CSL gamepad, they're awful. I have had so many issues with them while trying to film this video. Oh, no! I ran right into that. Just lost that extra life I just got. I'm only on level 3, it's ridiculous. Ah. Now, I could cheat and give myself unlimited lives, but I'm going to see how far I can get. Now, taking off the rose-tinted glasses a little bit, it does only have one little tune, occasionally two. I think there's one for the bosses, and, you know, it changes between screens. Ooh, no you don't. Oh, come on, I got stuck in the corner. That was just a controller error. Oh well. So, the music quality is good, but not really varied. Okay, let's get some extra lives back. I want to really reach. I want to at least reach the first boss. Oh, that was stupid of me. I should have waited for that to turn to an A. So what we got? There's the E. Give me an A or an R. No, that'll take too long to change, so I've got to go after this guy. I should point out, you can't actually kill the enemies when you zap them. You've got to pick them up and slam them back and forth. Now, so far I've been trying to transform all the enemies into lives, because it's early game, I need all the lives I can get, because I am losing them left, right and centre due to just talking and not paying attention. But half the fun of this game was when you do kill them normally, they drop all kinds of weapons, and well, it's pretty damn amusing and charming especially to a young kid, seeing all these colourful explosions and weapons. See, watch this. Boom! Fire a missile at you. No! You git! Just for that, I'm going to take it out on this little fella. Come on. Don't you dare spit. Oh! Alright, the hitbox on that one was a little shonky. I was out of range of that. Stop spitting things at me, you mean sharks. This is actually the third time I've recorded this, and I've just had so many little errors occur that and this is probably the worst playthrough. You think I'd get better each time, but no. Why did I do that? I don't believe it. I really do not believe how bad this is. But you can see what happens if I take too long a level. They turn into those. And we get the bomb as well. I'm going to have to get more flowers. I am vastly disappointed in myself. I really wish my first playthrough, which I did really well on, had turned out alright. I'd accidentally sneezed midway through it and there was a lot of static. And I was just like, no, I can't keep this. Just do a little evasion. And there we go. Just gotta be careful and not die to these guys, which has happened. Actually happened in my last playthrough. Now, the weird quirk of this game is actually harder in multiplayer because you can hit each other with the enemies you are slamming back and forth. And when I was trying to play this with a friend, it was like, we couldn't get past level 3 because she kept murdering me repeatedly. It was like, no, please stop hitting me with the enemies. Stay on the other side of the screen. Oh, there we go. I could have got the points, but... Now, let's try playing smart. Now, I can't go up there without risking being killed, but if I can get them to come down the ladder, like so, I can just dump them in the bottom. But not too many of them, because otherwise it gets very hard to get down there. And now I've got to be very careful, because I can't actually get rid of this guy. I can fling him there, but I can't... Oh, he went down. Weird. Was not expecting that. Thank you. Let me pick you up. Oh, there we go. Drop down. And now I go sideways. Go over here. You stay away from me. No, no, no! It's like... Another thing is, when you zap the enemies, it doesn't always zap the closest one. That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. But thank you for joining me as I share this little bit of nostalgia. It's a really fun little game. We didn't get to see much of it. We didn't get to see the bosses. I apologise. I think I'll go, now I've found out how the unlimited lives cheat is, I might go round my friend up and we'll hopefully do a multiplayer of this. But this is a charming little bit of gaming history. I'd love to see someone do a modernised little remake of this, or take the concepts and the characters and have some fun with it. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.